So the next scripture that we have on the list is Proverbs 23:7. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Basically, again, you'll attract what you'll think about. This ties into like energies and attraction. This is something that a lot of Word of Faith preachers use. And again, this is in Proverbs. So this is something you can't necessarily contextually sometimes take into account. But what does it mean?
Yeah. So like you said, with context is not as easy in the book of Proverbs as it is in other books, because it's a collection of like sayings, the sayings of the wise. So it's like a bunch of clever, wise sayings all crammed together. Sometimes you'll have a whole chapter that's on one topic. In this case, there's a few verses that are all related. So you can give it some context. Verses 6-8 is like one section. Proverbs 23:6 says, and I'll give it all in context. What does it mean when it says, like, as a man thinks in his heart, so he is? I think that's New King James Version. It says, do not eat the bread of a man who is stingy. Do not desire his delicacies. So this is really interesting. That's the context, right? Like you're with a buddy and you know that they're stingy and they're like, oh no, yeah, go ahead and have some. But you know they don't mean it, right? And so that's the context. Let me read it again, right? Do not eat the bread of a man who's stingy. Do not desire his delicacies. For he's like one who's inwardly calculating. Eat and drink. He says to you, eat and drink. He says to you, but his heart is not with you. You will vomit up the morsels that you have eaten and waste your pleasant words. And so the other translation that has the phrase, as he thinks in his heart, so he is. Here's what it really means. It means the inner life reveals the real you. His words don't do it. His thoughts do. So he says, oh yeah, eat and enjoy it. Go ahead. You can have some of my food. But his inner thoughts are, oh man, this guy getting my food and I'm bugged by it. So the real you is the inner thought life you. That's the real you. That's all it's about. It's not about attracting things to you. It's not about getting things. It's about revealing who's the real you, the face you put onto the world and things you say, or the inner thought life of the person. And the Bible's actually really big on this, the idea that my inner person, my inner thought life, that's the real me. And Jesus, he reinforces this when he's like, hey, if you look at somebody with lust, if you look to lust, I haven't done anything. I just looked, lust is in my heart. You've committed adultery in your heart. So the real you is in the thought life, which really to me shows me how desperately I need Jesus. Right. And that's the point of the proverb. It has nothing to do with getting things, attracting things. Just your thought life reveals the real you. As you think, so you are.